Yeah, Master, when you went down with the injury, the Achilles injury, could you just talk about the whole time frame? Coach Alford mentioned that you were all by yourself on campus in a one-room apartment working out. And could you just talk about the entire process and if you thought that your season might get lost or might get really abbreviated? Now, I know that's a lot to talk about, but there it is.
No, yeah, I mean, of course, when it happened, I um, wasn't excited about that. Of course, definitely didn't was unexpected circumstance that happened. But I had some good people around me, and of course, with COVID happening, it was a big deal that um, none of us kind of could predict at that time. So I just had to be disciplined and do everything that I was told to do by the trainers and the staff here to in order to get right. So I worked hard in my apartment and woke up every morning and did my training, did my treatment. And, after a while, I was able to go to the James Crane facility and do treatment there. And then of course, once things got back a little here, I became, I got here and started working with our trainers here, particularly or specifically here. But it was definitely another chance for me just to grow as a person, as a man, as a player, and continue to build disciplines in my life, to help me with certain things on down the road. So definitely, I felt like that the Lord was definitely with me throughout the time, and that I was going to be able to play this season, and I'm grateful that we're having one. A little delayed, of course, but nonetheless, I feel good and uh, blessed to have gone through it. Definitely at the time when it happened, I didn't want to go through it, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. So definitely think it was a good experience for me, just growing.
Sorry about that. Next up, Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row with Nathan Baird on deck. Spencer?
Hey, Master, when Trey transferred in, you guys got to see him work a little bit and see how he runs. How well do you think you and Trey complement each other in this run game?
I think he's a great addition to the team, to the room. High character guy. Very disciplined, and I think he learned very very quickly. Our offense and everything, and he's looking good. So we're excited to have him, and also just another chance to compete, another chance to make each other better, make everybody better in the room. So I think he's going to be a great compliment to the room.
Thank you.
Next up, Nathan Baird with Cleveland.com and Dave Biddle on deck. Nathan?
Hey, Master, we haven't had a chance to talk to you for so long. Can you just take us back to that first day of spring practice? I guess how much optimism you had going into that about being able to, position yourself as the main guy, but then also what happened on the injury and when did you realize right away how significant it was?
Yeah, I was definitely excited. Highly anticipated. Put in a lot of work, just like everybody here. But when it happened, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was up. I just wasn't quite sure. Couldn't put a name to it, but I knew it wasn't good. I couldn't really put weight on my foot or walk regular. So I knew something was wrong, and I was just in shock at the time. And fortunately, I hate the COVID deal happening. And, a lot of people got sick, and a lot of people unfortunately lost their lives. But I think as far as my injury goes, it's kind of worked in my favor and thinking in that way. But it's definitely unexpected, and but when it happened, I knew something. Something was up, something wasn't right. But like I said, I think it definitely was a blessing in disguise. And just continuing to build in life, you're always going to have some obstacles, something to overcome. So for me, that was just one of the obstacles that I had at that time.
How much of sort of a chip on your shoulder is there, just feeling like you still need to prove yourself in some way compared to last season? Regardless of the injury, was that something that was motivating you or is still motivating you?
I mean, definitely, I still, you can always improve, and I'm not at my best. I wouldn't, I don't feel like I was at my totally my best. Last year is always each year just get better, and just continue to prove, just to my teammates, to this university, to myself that I'm my capabilities, are elite, and just ultimately, my ultimate motivation though is just to serve the Lord in what I do. And of course, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I just give Him thanks for positioning me where He's positioned me. I just want to be a good steward of that, and do my best in that for His glory. So that's kind of my take.
Next up, Dave Biddle with 24/7 Sports and Brendan Gulick on deck. Dave?
Thanks, Jerry. Hi, Master. You got a chance to play a lot last year, Master, as JK's backup. You put up pretty good stats, especially for a backup. Just as you reflect on your redshirt freshman season, what comes to mind?
I think one thing that comes to mind, it was definitely a great experience. I think it was good to see, an elite back ahead of me, how he worked, and how he studied the game, and how he just came to work every day. Good example for me. But definitely, I think this year I feel like I'm a way better player. Gonna be a way better player, and I think because also last year I didn't feel like I had a good enough. I wasn't my full self as a running back. I don't think, even though I did decent. I didn't get the agility that I would like to have gotten in the off seasons, and because I dealt with some things during that time too, as far as my body. But with this injury, I feel like I've been able to just rebuild myself in a different way, and I think it's going to work out great for me this year.
And that's interesting. I mean, especially coming off the injury, you feel like you're way better. Can you expound on why you feel like you're way better?
Just like I said, I was able to kind of not totally restart, but add some things into my regimen, into my preparation of having a season. And of course, there's still some little things you need to get used to, as we haven't really played football and had pads on, since a long time. So there's still some things physically, we still got to work on, building that toughness as a team and everything, and individually. So definitely that part will come, but ultimately I feel like I just feel better in my body and my body control and just every, the mechanics of it. I think it has something to do with, just me being able to kind of, restart and rebuild from the injury. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up, Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated with Austin Ward on deck. Brendan?
Hey, Master. Nice to talk to you. Hey, I think it's probably fair to say that we've kind of come to know that you're a pretty mature young man, and that you're certainly ingrained with your spirituality. And I'm curious if you can maybe give us a little bit of insight into this process, and if you're willing to share with us maybe some of the tough moments that you've had where you battle tough thoughts. Rehab's a tough thing to go through. You battle doubts. You wonder what the future looks like. Was there something that somebody said to you, or a defining moment for you that really helped you push through on a day that might have been pretty difficult?
I guess, one of the struggles I had, and I think a lot of people maybe experienced during the time, was just, just kind of frustration of, you don't really know, what's ahead, and you don't really have a clear insight to where you're going. No direction in that way, as far as, the season or, and COVID So that was kind of the frustration. You know, I handled it well pretty much through the time when we were really locked down. And I was really on my own and everything. And but towards, you know, this probably recently, like last month or whatever, I was, you know, still struggling. I was struggling with, you know, just not knowing what was going on and, you know, where we're headed. And I think, you know, I just had to really pray over that and ask the Lord to give me patience. And because ultimately, like I said, this is a gift. You know, being here at this university is definitely a blessing. But you know, my identity is ultimately in Christ, so that's where I find my satisfaction, ultimate satisfaction. And so I just had to pray for patience and make sure I had to align myself with you know, the Lord, and just trusting Him that He was gonna, you know, good. It's all gonna work out for the good, no matter which way it went. And just looking at it like that, in that way, kind of helped me, you know, get through some of those tough times.
And how about your relationship with your dad? Because we saw him as one of the forefront figures as part of the parents group that was pushing for the season to be brought back. Can you tell us a little bit more about, you know, the relationship that you have with your dad?
Yeah, definitely. You know, me and my dad, me and my family are really close. Like, you know, parents, you know, basically your biggest advocate, and you know, they fight for you. My dad, you know, definitely thought something was wrong with the situation going at hand. So, you know, you know, if he thinks something is off, he's going to attack it. He's going to try to, you know, make it right. So it's definitely a good example for me as a young person, continuing to grow into a man, and you know, really stand up for what is right, what is good, you know, what is praiseworthy. So I definitely appreciate, you know, my parents and my dad in that. Uh, like I said, yeah, you know, he was a big help as well. You know, I talk to them pretty much every day, and so definitely appreciative of my parents, my father.
All right, we got time for two more questioners. We will start with Austin Ward from Letterman Row. Austin.
Hey, Master, I want to go back to something you said a little bit ago, that maybe this wound up being a blessing for you to have the season move back a little bit. If the season had started on time on September 3rd or 5th or whichever schedule, how close to 100% would you have been, and how much do you think you could have played a month ago?
No, I definitely think I definitely would have been good. I think would have been 100%. I meant the the earlier side of this. I think it was you know, I didn't miss spring practice, and you know, I kind of had more time in the summer, you know, to just get right and not really miss anything on the football side, because we were basically out. So I feel like I would have been ready to go, to be honest, if we would have started regular time.
Because Coach Alford seemed like he wasn't quite willing to say Master is fully 100% even right now, or that he could do 60 or 70 plays. When you go through a practice and a week in pads, like, how do you feel? Do you have any mental, physical restrictions at all as you're testing, try and get back on that Achilles?
No, like I said, I think nothing with the Achilles, but just getting used to playing ball again, playing ball in the physical aspect, because it's been so long. So I've been feeling good, no worries.
All right, and the last questioner for Master is going to be Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Yeah, Master, you talked about kind of reshaping your body or changing your body. Were you trying to get more agile? Was that the biggest focus for you?
I guess that's one of the things that I feel like I was missing a little bit last year. You know, not being able to participate fully in the summer, spring trainings. So I was able to, you know, do more agility work and footwork, and just different things, you know, balance and all that. So I definitely feel better, well-rounded. in that aspect of my game. So I feel good.
Okay, and you put up some pretty good numbers last year as a backup, but I know the last game didn't go the way you wanted to. I think you had 9 yards and 7 carries. How much did that drive you, that Clemson game? That give you even more motivation to prove that you can be a J.K. Dobbins, a Zeke Elliott, all those, another great Ohio State running back?
Yeah, so that definitely wasn't a performance that I want to have, but you hate to go through something and then have to learn from it. You like to learn first and then go from there. But definitely, I think it's something that I've thought about and want to make sure that I display that I can make those plays. I can make big plays in the heat of the moment, in those heated games like that, in the big games. I can still contribute and make a difference. So definitely, that's one of the things that I have thought about, and I feel like I definitely do better with that this year. But like I said, I think JK was a great example for me of how to prepare and how to be ready for those moments like that.
Thank you, Master. Appreciate it.
Master, thank you very